Hey guys and girls, Mark from Gunpla Network. Today, another special review. Thanks to Side 7 Exports, please check out their website in the link in description below for all your Gundam base and P-Bando needs. Now, as I was saying, this is a special kit. It's the 3.0 Gundam in the Gundam base colours, which means lots of blues. And I dig it. It's super cool. I mean, look at it. Just as it goes around, it's very nice. And it's a bit different to the normal red and white colour scheme, I guess. So if you don't like painting, this is a good option. First up is the inner frame. Now, I did some touch-ups, so you'll notice the thrusters are silver. I didn't use the stickers. Sorry, not on this shot, you won't, but on the next shot, because I filmed this pre-paints. I used some Tamiya enamels to copper to paint that. But so here it is with the inner frame. It's pretty great looking, really detailed. The space and the light pipe system for the LED in the chest and head, it's great, and it is begging for a paint job. It's a bit more complex on the legs and arms than usual, but not too hard. Here he is fully armored up, and now you can see, like I said, some clear red on the parts inside the thrusters, silver thrusters, and you can see instead of copper stickers, I had copper or gold, bronze stickers, whatever you want to call them. I used a Tamiya enamel copper paint on those once I'd gloss coated them. It's just something about this kit. The shades of blues, the whites, bones. It's really cool. Yeah, I dig it. I did a light grey panel wash over everything, some black on the darker colours, but that's it really. The accessories, they're pretty cool. I did paint the pilot figures as I'm showing you here. So you can see the standing Amuro and the core block Amuro that's in there, and the core fighter Amuro that's in there. Now the only decals I did use so far were the Gundam base specific for the shield. So I pressed them down, I did cut in a couple of lines and it helped, but overall they're still stickers. So you can see the gimmick there on the shield. It's got the sliding eye shield part. It's nicely detailed. You could panel wash the crap out of that on the inside and help. It's got the moving handle, which is nice. It's got a clamp for the back of the arm, and if you fold that over, it's got a peg to stick into the backpack. And it actually moves up and down, but it will come off if you're not careful. It's stuck in enough to hold, but if you really pull it, it will come off easily. And yeah, that's a really nicely detailed shield. I love it. There's your action base adapter. Now, like I said, I painted the pilot figures because they were pretty super simple. There's only a few colors. The only difference here, majorly with mine, is I just took a piece of pla plate, 0.5mm, and cut it down just to give him something to stand on, because otherwise I find the tiny feet on these pilot figures doesn't help them stand. Alright, the core fighter. So all I did with this, gloss coated, I took the clear landing, because this will be sitting on the ground next to mine. I took the clear landing gear and I painted them silver and black for the tyres and some of the metal bits. You see the core fighter hatch goes up, and it's your pilot figure inside, that pushes back in, snaps down. It's a really nice colour with this blue. Now, I think when you push this back, it's meant to actually rotate around inside, but if with mine, if you just grab the hobby knife or your fingernail, you can flip it around just that bottom piece below the seat. So if you have it in core fighter block mode for the inside the Gundam, he will be facing the right way. Otherwise, yeah, it's kind of a cool feature. The wings expand, and unfortunately, I have a bit of left side droopy wing going on. I'll have to put a touch of glue on that. But when you open these up, you get into some detail, which is really cool. I love the look of the core fighters. Like, they're really tiny, and in the Thunderbolt anime, they kind of come out a bit. They drop folded up in their core block form from the ships. These are the missile hatches right here. They're hard to get up. They don't go a whole lot of the way. I thought they should have come up more and revealed a second missile. I put a tiny touch of red on the missile head because it was all white, just to differentiate and see something in there. That was really hard because I did it after I'd already put it together. And yeah, so if you fold that up like that, take the landing gear off, which you might want to glue because it's in a few separate pieces. And then if you just push back on the nose, flip it around, and the wing, it all kind of folds together, which is really, really cool. So that's in its core block mode for inside the Gundam. Now, the bazooka, really nicely detailed. I like it. It's hard to see on camera. I didn't really panel wash this one, but it's got a movable handle, doesn't move as far as I'd like. It's got ammo in the back, a vent on the back. It's got a few lines. It's got the shoulder mount. Now this bit on the side is actually so it can attach into the back skirt. You could probably put it inside the shield, but it would be a bit heavy and long for that. Now the beam rifle, really cool. I do like the design of the original beam rifle, I guess. It's got a blue piece instead of a yellow piece for the eye scope, otherwise I think the colours are the same. You could paint that mechanical detail in there, the grip moves side to side. You could paint the handle, I guess, and inside the handle for both weapons it actually has a piece that flips outwards, and that will then lock into the hand. And good news, it swings either way, so you could do it in the left or the right. Now the beam sabers, you get two, and you get two effect parts, and they both just stick in the backpack right there. There are actually two spare beam sabers, and they're from the 2.0 kit, so these are newer. They've got the same piece inside that you can flip through to help mount them properly into the real grade style hands, I guess, or 3.0 hands, however you want to interpret. And yeah, they look really nicely detailed with a light grey panel wash. Here's the two core fighters. Now, I just wanted to show you them side by side because you've got the core fighter and the core block. Some people said they wouldn't use the block and you would just, put the core fighter inside. I, on the other hand, with my real grade as well, I did this. I like the core fighter on the outside, and I like a painted core block, which I painted up here. I luckily had some Titans 2.0 blue that I'd made up for used for my last Titans build, and I had some light purple pre-mixed up from my Ale Strike. I then just took some silver and copper and some panel wash to paint the side bits, and a ton of masking. And it works. Now here's the core fighter. It's just spinning around on its own there. I wanted to give you a shot, and you can see my right side, I guess, droopy wing there. I painted the verniers or thrusters on the back as well, just a touch of silver. And like I said, I gloss coated it, so I'm not afraid to hit it with the enamels now because I know it's sealed up. I think it just adds to the level of detail. Just a touch of black and silver on the wheels there, and you've got your landing gear instead of being clear. And this is it. All together, one shot, this is what you got. Amuro standing on the shoulder, the core fighter down below, which have the pilot figures inside the Gundam and in the core fighter, and the weapons on. I think it's making me feel pretty nostalgic about time. Now it might be time to go watch 0079, the original Gundam again. I love this kit from all angles. Bandai should do another 3.0. Or maybe some 0083 2.0. But hey, you never know, we could get it. Now, just talking about the color accuracy again, stickers. I only used one, and that was the one that goes around the eyes. Now, not the one that goes over the eyes, because I do have an LED unit coming for this in the next few weeks. The one that fits inside the chest. Other than that, I didn't want to use any of the copper ones or anything, or the bronze. I decided to paint that myself. Like I said, it wasn't too hard, easy to get to and clean up. And I think it looks pretty good in a flat metal kind of color there. So yeah, the stickers don't really need. The thrusters are a flat silver, and the clear parts got some clear red over the top of them. I think it just adds to the whole look. Simple, nice touches you can make without too much effort. Now, articulation. This 3.0 was hailed as, massively articulated, and I can see why after playing with it for a bit. It can get some awesome posing. The head goes a good way up, so if you're in a flight pose, you can actually have him looking quite well ahead. Considering it's got the light pipe in the neck, that's impressive. It can look down. It can even head tilt a little sideways. But you can't turn all the way around because the back of the head catches on the neck guard, which is fine. You can force it, but overall it doesn't really need to. The arms. Now these mofos were complex to build. This is the only, like the legs and the arms, the kind of the joint parts are the only point where I would say I had real issues, and that was because so many tiny little pieces. People complain about real grades, but this was worse than a real grade. It's got great articulation, as you can see. Pull out that nice shoulder joint that's built in, and that is, you can get a real, like really good pull out all the way up. It can shoot above like a last standing kind of pose. That's great. But those elbows nearly did my head in. I was struggling with that. Oh, you can also see on top of the joint there, you've got that blue cover. It flips upwards to allow that kind of movement, and the shoulders actually have a little bit of movement in them themselves. Not fully opened up like open hatch, but the only thing you gotta watch out for is this peg or piece will pop out of the shoulder there, and then you're kind of in for another 5 minutes of putting this all back together. And then if you get it back in, the peg might come out of the arm socket itself, and then the shoulder will come loose. Easily fixed with some effort. So the arm will also go all the way around. Pull out forward there, gets a nice amount of movement. And it just makes like, and that, I'm very impressed about that piece next to the head on top of the shoulders there, that comes out to allow this kind of movement to happen. Obviously, being a core block, core fighter system, you won't get a whole lot from the waist. That's fine. Sorry, what I'll say as well is the elbows get a great amount of movement with all those tiny little pieces that you had to put in. I've missed some on the back side. I'll touch that up later. And the arms, just great amount of motion on them. The hands are, like I said, a real grade style hand, all individual fingers. The covers can come off the back of them pretty easily, so maybe a touch of thin glue there will help that. But they do have a great amount of movement in them. I did find it hard to grip the weapons sometimes. Luckily you have those pieces which will open up on the inside of the palm there. Otherwise, if you're wanting to just do some expressive hand movements, you only get one set of hands with this, guys. Be aware. But they're not the worst hands I've ever seen. The cockpit hatch opens up, and you can see my little pilot figure that I painted up in the core block there. Then on the front, the actual, I think if you remember in the anime, like the bottom of it slides open. It's kind of like, I think, the core fighter hatch without the actual cockpit cover opening up. So you can just, the pilot could slide out of that. It was just a bit quicker than opening the full hatch. So the only thing I don't like is sometimes you see a gap and you can see the pilot anyway when that should be fully closed off. The front skirts are on like a ball joint, and they can kind of go push up and then lift up, pull down and lift down and get a good range of motion. They can pop out and come apart, but that's most kits I find when I'm playing with them. Maybe I'm a little bit too heavy-handed. But if you just press it back together and put that back in place, it pushes back in really easily. The side skirts are pretty good as well. The back skirts were a tad loose on mine, so a bit of thin cement again. When I find a good pose, I'll leave him in. The knees have got that really awesome kind of sliding armor gimmick. It separates, that we all know and love, and even on the bottom of the side of the shin there it separates, and you can see where I've done the grey, light grey panel wash. You could use black. I don't think it would suit well, but yeah, the back of the ankle, sorry, the back of the foot cover even moves. That's on a ball joint. Great armor separation on the foot there, and you can see on the sides of the legs, elbows, ankles, anywhere you've got those kind of a round cover, armor cover. I used the ones that you get two choices. You can either have that magnetic coating, if you remember from the unboxing, which is what that is. Back skirt cover there. Oh, the waist has come apart. Back skirt cover there is a little loose on mine, but that's the same as the fronts, can move up and down on a ball joint. Yeah, the magnetic cover or the standard one. The standard one just is a bit more open. The magnetic cover is sealed. I liked the look of that one, and I panel washed it. So he gets pretty much to the full splits, and the legs go all the way up, and you can pretty much kick yourself in the back as well. The ankle joint goes side to side, moves around. It's pretty good. It's just on a big ball joint. The ankle covers themselves were really stiff. The verniers, thrusters, and I think there's verniers under their smaller ones, even have like their own range of movement within the backpack. If you slide one, the other moves with it. They are a touch loose and won't sit all the way up. In the middle there, you can actually turn that around. That's for your shield to attach to with the peg on it. Or if you flip it around, it's got a solid cover, much like the back skirt where you can attach the rifle or the bazooka. Flips around, otherwise it's got a solid cover if you don't have anything attached. Here it is compared with the Mark II Titans 2.0 I did for GBWC in 2019. Looks great, and you can see the heritage, the evolution, I guess. Similar loadouts too, both with shield, beam rifle, beam sabers, and bazookas. Now, obviously my Titans 2.0 is a repaint, and I did extra scribing, so keep that in mind. I even made my own custom vent covers for the front. I love the details that Bandai jammed into this thing. The whites, the greys, the bone and blues. Make it stand out on your shelf. And if you want to panel wash it with lime grey like I did, it gives a subtle amount of extra, detail. Here it is in the kneeling pose, and it did it really easily. It's got great balance. For a kit, you can balance it up on one leg. Didn't take much effort to achieve that either. Now we can copy the box art in a flying pose, like he's just launched forward off the ship, carrying both the beam rifle and the bazooka, and the shield stored on the back. Looking at this kit now, in this double wielding beam saber pose, I'm inspired to do another, maybe in a custom color scheme. I do like the G3 though, that's too similar to this, maybe in the original, just repainted with pre-shading or something. But this would be a painter's dream. It just breaks down into so many armor pieces. You can get all the different shading and stuff that you want. It's definitely a kit for those who don't paint, I think, this particular one because of the custom color scheme. A couple of extra decals, nothing over the originals too much though. Be warned, I wouldn't tackle if it was my first MG. It's just got too many small pieces, complex in the arms, and probably have you throwing it in the bin unjustly. But that's it, guys. Check out the links below. Leave a comment if you've built the 3.0. Let me know what you thought, and if you've got this one. And I'll catch you next time. Mark out.